What's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. For today's topic, I'm going to be discussing how to do plyometrics and avoid knee pain. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I do a lot of high intensity plyometrics, a lot of jumping, a lot of sprinting, and people ask me all the time, how do I do all this and not have any knee pain? So today, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. First off, if you have knee pain and you want to get into plyometrics, make sure you get it checked out. Especially if you want to have a lasting career in your sport or you just want to be healthy for the long term, make sure you get it checked out by a professional. That way you'll know exactly what your issue is, and then you'll know exactly what you need to do in order to fix the issue. And then after watching this video, you'll know exactly how to do the plyometrics and not have the knee pain. So when it comes to doing plyometrics, it's very important to understand the purpose and the intention of why you're doing the exercises. The main goal of plyometrics is to improve your power, to become more explosive. Whether you want to sprint faster or jump higher, the main goal is to improve your overall athleticism. And in order to get the absolute most out of plyometric training, you need to perform every single rep with 100% effort. And whenever you do anything with 100% effort, it's going to tax you not only physically, but also your neuromuscular system. So that being said, you need to make sure that you're taking enough rest in between your reps and your sets. One thing I see a lot of nowadays are that people are doing plyometrics with the goal of improving their conditioning. And this isn't a huge issue, but when it comes to conditioning, that typically means a lot higher reps and a lot less rest. So if you do that over time, your body's gonna get tired, the muscles are gonna get tired, your form might get bad, and if you are putting maximal effort into these reps, then it's going to increase the risk of injury. So you just have to make sure that you're taking the right precautions. Especially if you're a beginner or don't have much experience, if you don't take the right precautions, then you will injure your knees. Personally, I do plyometrics with the goal of improving my athleticism, and I make sure that I do every single rep with maximal effort and that I'm resting enough in between sets. If you want to do plyometrics with the goal of conditioning, that's completely up to you, but like I said, just make sure you take the right precautions. The next thing I'm going to talk about is your form. So just like anything else you do in the gym, you want to have good form when it comes to plyometrics. So you not only want to learn how to jump properly, but also how to land properly. When it comes to landing, you want to first touch down on the balls of your feet and land in a quarter squat position. This is going to effectively absorb the force of the impact. And one thing that really helps me is that when I land, I don't make a loud thud onto the ground. I want to be as soft as possible. One exercise I really like doing that can help you improve your landing mechanics are the depth drops. And the height of the drop can be changed depending on your level. Why this exercise is so good is because it forces you to focus on solely the landing mechanics, and it's going to help your body absorb force and will help you when it comes to some more advanced exercises. So if you're a beginner, I highly recommend you focus on being able to land properly before you just go out and jump with maximal effort. The next thing that you need to take into consideration when it comes to plyometrics is the total volume. How much should you do? How much is safe to do? Well, this is dependent on a couple factors. For example, the more experienced you are, then the more you're going to be able to do. Also, if you play sports, it's going to vary depending on if you're in season or out of season. Obviously, if you're in season, you're not going to be able to do as much because you're going to be practicing and playing games. Here are a couple guidelines from the NSCA that are telling us a little something about volume and plyometrics. So if you're a beginner, then you should aim for about 80 to 100 jumps per session. Intermediate, 100 to 120 jumps per session. And if you're advanced, 120 to 140 jumps per session. Remember what I said? You need to do every single jump with maximal effort if you want to get the most out of it. So even if you're a beginner, 80 maximal effort jumps can be a lot. They also recommend between 1 and 3 times per week. And again, this is going to vary on many factors. If you're in season, out of season, if you're a beginner, if you're super advanced. Personally, and this is the opinion of many coaches as well, I believe that twice a week is enough. If you're playing sports, then you can even get away with once a week because you're doing a lot of cutting and sprinting, jumping. But twice a week is sufficient. Make sure you put maximal effort into it and you're gonna see some good results. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is strength training. The stronger your muscles and tendons are, then the more it's gonna protect your joints. If all you're doing is plyometric training and you're not doing any strength training whatsoever, then you'll most likely end up with knee pain. If you really wanna protect your knees, then you need to strengthen the muscles in each of their actions. There are 3 main muscle actions that we're gonna look at. First is the eccentric action. This is where the muscle lengthens. So think when you're doing a squat, this is when you're descending down. The muscles and tendons love eccentric exercises. So what I personally like to do, I like to do split squats and I like to lower myself down nice and slowly. Think about 3 to 5 seconds of lowering. You can do the same with the regular squat. You can start with this body weight and then you can load it up. The muscles and tendons are going to get very strong for this. The second muscle action is the isometric, and this is where the muscle length does not change. So think when you're doing a squat, you're just holding that bottom position or you're holding that quarter squat position. It's anytime that muscle length does not change. And just like eccentrics, the muscles and the tendons love these. So some exercises I like to do split squats and hold that bottom position, or you can even do wall sits. I even like doing regular squats and holding it at a specific angle. Not only are the muscles and tendons gonna get very strong here, but they will also set you up for the next action, which is the concentrics. This is where all the force is produced. This is that up portion of the squat, the up portion of a jump, and it's very important to build strength in this phase as well. And one way you can really strengthen that concentric action is with changing the tempo. For example, when you're going up on a squat, instead of just shooting up, go up in about 2 seconds. You can try going up in 3 seconds or 5 seconds. That's really gonna help strengthen that action solely, and then you can go up with a nice explosion. That's going to help translate into your strength when it comes to plyometrics. So if you really focus on strengthening those 3 actions, it's going to help protect your joints and will help you avoid knee pain when it comes to doing plyometrics. And another great benefit of strength training is that the stronger the muscles are, the more force they'll be able to produce and the better you'll be at plyometrics. So there's so many reasons and benefits as to why you should do strength training. You definitely don't want to leave it out of your routine. Another thing you can do to help protect those knees is make sure you have a good diet. You need to make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of vitamin C and calcium, because that is going to help you build some strong bones and tendons. There are honestly so many things you can include in your diet that have vitamin C and calcium, but a very short list I'm going to give you guys. Dark berries, specifically blueberries and raspberries, they also have antioxidants. Salmon, high source of protein, and it has anti-inflammation properties. You can have other fatty fishes. You've got things like Brussels sprouts, pineapples, oranges, red peppers, another great source of vitamin C. Dairy, obviously a great and well-known source of calcium. You can even take supplementation if needed, but just make sure that you're getting a sufficient amount. That way you're going to build some strong bones and tendons and protect those joints. Another thing that I'm going to very briefly touch on is make sure you're at a healthy weight. If you're overweight, don't do plyometrics. The knees already bear a significant amount of the body's weight, and if you're overweight, it's just going to place additional stress on your joints. Another important factor to take into consideration is having the right shoes. When doing plyometrics, I like to wear a shoe that has proper shock absorption and has a sufficient amount of heel and arch support. The shock absorption will prevent the knees from taking aggressive impact, and the heel and arch support are going to keep the ankle stable upon landing. There are also a lot of benefits to barefoot training. I'm not going to get into any of those benefits, but if you've not done barefoot training before, then it is going to hurt. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the surface you train on. When possible, try to train on a softer surface. So think grass, AstroTurf, the rubber gym floors. If all you have to train on is concrete, for example, then you're gonna have to make do with what you got. But when possible, try to train on a soft surface. Well, there you have it, guys. Some tips to help you do plyometrics and avoid that knee pain. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, go ahead and share this with anybody else who you think can benefit. And also give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, because I have a ton of videos coming out in the future that you don't want to miss. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.